Every time petrol or diesel prices go up, it feels personal, because it hits your pocket immediately. Filling your bike or car today costs almost double compared to just 10 years ago. But the number you see at the fuel pump is not just about international oil markets. There are multiple layers behind that price tag. Today I'll explain simply and clearly why fuel prices keep going up, and why they don't always fall when crude oil becomes cheaper. Let's start with the basics. India imports the vast majority of the crude oil it refines, around 87 to 88%. This means whatever happens to global crude oil prices immediately affects India. If oil-producing nations cut supply, prices go up. If there's a war or conflict in the Middle East, prices go up. And since we are so dependent on imports, we can't escape this impact. But it's not just the international oil price. Crude is bought in US dollars, so if the rupee weakens against the dollar, India has to pay more in rupees for the exact same barrel of oil. Think about it like this. If $1 goes from 70 rupees to 80 rupees, our oil bill increases by more than 10%, even if the actual oil price stays the same. Economists estimate that even a small fall in the rupee adds thousands of crores to India's import costs, which eventually trickles down to what you and I pay at the pump. Now comes the part many people don't realize: taxes. After crude and refining costs, the single biggest factor in your petrol or diesel price is government taxation. There are two main types: central excise duty and state-level VAT or sales tax. Together, they can form more than half of the price you pay. This is why petrol might cost 100 rupees per liter in one city, but 110 in another. Each state decides its own VAT. In fact, if you look at an official price breakup, taxes and duties are often larger than the actual cost of the fuel itself. Here's where politics enters. When global crude oil prices fall, governments can pass on the benefit to citizens by cutting taxes. But more often than not, they don't. Instead, they keep taxes the same, or sometimes even increase them. That extra money becomes a massive revenue source for both central and state governments. Fuel taxes are easy money because demand is inelastic. People still need petrol and diesel even if prices rise. So instead of giving you cheaper fuel, governments often use that margin to balance their budgets or fund welfare schemes. Since 2017, India has followed something called dynamic pricing. This means oil companies update retail fuel prices every single day based on international crude, exchange rates, and other costs. Sounds fair, right? The problem is that this system works better for price hikes than for price drops. When crude oil rises, the effect shows up quickly at the pump. But when crude falls, the benefit gets diluted or delayed because of tax rigidity, company inventories, and currency fluctuations. This is why you often feel like fuel prices climb fast but crawl back down slowly. Let's understand the impact on daily life. A rise in petrol or diesel is not just about your personal fuel bill. It affects transportation of goods, vegetables, groceries, delivery services, and even bus and train operations. When fuel becomes costlier, almost every product and service you buy indirectly becomes more expensive. That's why fuel inflation often leads to overall inflation, hurting the poor and middle class the most. So what are the solutions? Economists suggest bringing petrol and diesel under GST, which would create one uniform tax system across India. This could significantly reduce prices, but the challenge is that both central and state governments would lose one of their largest revenue sources. Another solution is reducing our dependence on imported crude. For this, India is slowly promoting alternatives like ethanol blending, electric vehicles, solar energy, and better public transport. But these are long-term fixes. For the next decade at least, crude imports and fuel taxes will continue to dominate the price you pay. To sum it up, every time you see fuel prices rise, remember it's not one single reason. It's a mix of global crude markets, the strength of the rupee, heavy taxation, and political choices. Until we diversify our energy and make taxation fairer, volatility at the pump is something every Indian will have to live with. So next time the petrol pump stings your pocket, you'll know the bigger story behind that number. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think petrol and diesel should be brought under GST? Comment your thoughts below. And if you found this explanation clear, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and share it with your friends. I'll bring more such explainers every week.